All right, let's jump right into the latest real estate report for Kingman, Arizona. At first glance, the October numbers seem to be telling one story, but when you dig just a little bit deeper, well, a completely different picture starts to take shape. So let's get into it.
So what we've got here is this really interesting puzzle. You've got some numbers shooting straight up, while other equally important numbers are heading in the complete opposite direction. And it's these mixed signals that are telling us, hey, something is changing here.
Okay, so first up, the number that grabs everyone's attention, the median sales price. It jumped a whopping 10.6% in just 1 month. If you're selling your house, you see a number like that and you're thinking, this is fantastic, right? But maybe hold that thought. Because, and this is a big but, at the very same time, the number of homes that are actually selling has taken a nosedive. We're down more than 20% compared to this time last year. That is a serious drop in actual sales activity. And that leads us to the big question, right? The one we're here to figure out. How in the world can prices be hitting new highs when the number of sales is falling off a cliff? To get that answer, we've got to look beyond the headlines. All right, let's start where everyone's eyes go first. The price tag. This is the stuff that gets all the buzz, and you can see why. It looks incredibly strong on the surface. Check this out. The new median sales price in Kingman is now just shy of $280,000. This is the number that makes it seem like the market is still red hot, at least when you're just looking at price. And you can see it right here in the graph. I mean, you don't have to be a data wizard to spot that huge spike upwards in October. It's a crystal clear visual of that powerful jump in prices we just talked about. And it's not just the median price either. The price per square foot, that's also up, hitting $202. On top of that, sellers are still getting almost 99% of their original asking price. I mean, on paper, this looks like an absolute dream for anyone selling a home. But that's only half the story. Okay, so now let's pull back the curtain and look at the other side of this whole thing, supply. Because the number of homes actually for sale, this is where the story gets really interesting. I mean, just look at this number. We're talking about a nearly 50% surge in new listings compared to last October. That is a ton of homeowners who've suddenly decided that now is the time to sell, and they are flooding the market with new options for buyers. Now, before we get to the next big number, it's really important to get what this term means, month supply of inventory. The easiest way to think about it is like the market's fuel gauge. A low number, like 1 or 2 months, means it's a hot seller's market. A high number, like 6 or 7, means things are cooling off into a buyer's market. And right now, Kingman's fuel gauge is shooting up, and it's shooting up fast. We are now at 4.6 months of supply. That is a staggering, almost 58% increase from last year. And that tells us that the balance of power is definitely starting to shift away from sellers. And if you need more proof, just look at the chart again. You can see exactly what's happening. Those trend lines for new listings and active inventory, they aren't just rising, they're climbing steadily. This isn't just a 1-month fluke, it's a pattern. More and more homes are hitting the market and staying there. So, think about it. What happens when you have way more homes for sale, but fewer people are actually buying them? Well, the whole pace of the market, the whole rhythm, it starts to slow way down. And here's the proof in the pudding. Last year, a home was on the market for about 31 days. Now, it's 37 days. Now, 6 days might not sound like a ton, but it's a nearly 20% increase year over year, and it's a very clear signal that buyers are feeling less rushed. They're taking their time. So let's put it all together. You've got more homes on the market, you've got fewer sales actually happening, and the homes that do sell are taking longer. What does that all add up to? It's a pretty simple equation, really. The Kingman market is cooling down. Okay, so we've cracked the code on the numbers, but what does all this actually mean for you? You know, whether you're thinking about buying a house or putting yours on the market. Let's break it down. All right, if you're a buyer, listen up. This is some good news for you. All this new inventory means you've got way more choices, and you're not fighting off as many other buyers for the same house. That could absolutely give you more power to negotiate. Now for the sellers out there, the game has changed. You've got to price your home competitively right from the start. You've got to be patient, and you have to make sure your home looks its absolute best to stand out from that growing crowd. When you step back and look at the big picture, what's really happening here is a shift. We're moving away from that crazy, frantic seller's market we've seen for so long, and we're heading towards something a lot more balanced. And in a market like this one, understanding these numbers isn't just a nice to have, it's everything. It's power. And all of this leaves us with one massive lingering question. That big price jump we saw in October, could that have been the last big hurrah for sellers before the sheer weight of all this inventory starts to drag prices into a new direction? Are we right on the edge of Kingman becoming a true buyer's market? Well, the next few months of data are going to be very, very telling. Thanks for tuning in.